Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So seeing as I have done a tutorial on how to get glowy skin for dry to normal skin types, now I'm going to give you guys a tutorial on how to get a mattified, beautiful looking skin for people who have combination to oily skin. So I know that people that have this skin type tend to kind of be a little bit shy to show their skin and everything in public because they feel like they're so oily, but you guys are just as beautiful as people that have dry to normal skin. Everyone is equally beautiful. All you need to know is just how to properly take care of the skin and what you can do to kind of minimize the oiliness to get your self-confidence back. When you are looking for products, you want to make sure that they are oil-free. Adding oil products to your skin is just going to create an even bigger problem, so you want to avoid that at all costs. And another thing is that people with oil-age combination skin tend to fear moisturizer and they don't want to use it because they think that they're going to make the problem worse. However, it is super important that you do moisturize your skin because you need to make sure that it's hydrated. If you lack water in your skin type, it could make it look worse or make it look more oily. So if you're using a moisturizer like the one that I have that has hyaluronic acid in it, it will help retain water in your skin and will make it look a lot better. This one is for dry skin types, but you can find cream that is for all skin types that will have hyaluronic acid. So I can post a few pictures if you guys want as well. The next thing that you want to know is when you are using products, you want to tend to stay more to the powder products when you're doing your makeup. You don't want to put on cream products or anything oil-based because they will move on the skin, and that is what we're trying to avoid. So the first thing that I want to rely on to you guys is like a little tip or a hack was something that I've seen on TikTok because of course I'm obsessed with that app and I find a lot of my stuff on there now, but that's okay. I tried this a few days ago and for my skin type, because I'm dry, it made me look good, but by the end of the day it was looking powdery. For people that have oily skin, I think this could be super beneficial to you guys and make your skin look absolutely flawless. So the first thing that they did was take your moisturizer, and I've already moisturized my face, so I'm just gonna do this like super fast. So once they moisturized their face, they went in with a loose setting powder. For this step, don't take one that's matte, just take one that's regular. They dabbed a brush into it lightly, and then they just like blotted it all over the skin. You don't want to put too much powder all over your skin in the beginning because then it'll literally look really terrible putting a liquid over a powder. But if you just put a slight layer, it'll help absorb any excess of oils that will come through your skin and try to go onto your foundation. And it will help the foundation from creasing, which is also a good aspect. So once they were done applying the powder, not too much, but once they were done applying the powder, they did go in with a setting spray and they just set it all over their face. So now the next thing that you guys need to know when you have oily combination skin, primer is super important for you guys. So I know most people tend to feel, if you're combination skin, most people feel like they're oily in their T-zone and their nose is what really bothers them. So one way that you can prevent this is using a mattifying primer. If you have combination skin, you can use a mattifying primer in conjunction with a regular primer on the spots that are not oily. But if you have very oily skin and you feel like even your cheeks and everything's oily, go with a mattifying primer all over the skin. So this one is from Wet n Wild and I really love to use this one on my clients. However, I know that there are different ones that I've worked with in makeup school. I can post the pictures up now to give you different ideas. Just a little disclaimer, you guys know already that I do have dry skin, but I'm going to do my skin as if I was an oily skin type, so just don't come at me if I look super dry. Just know it's not my skin type. I just want to give you guys a tutorial to better educate you guys on how you can take care of your skin. So I'm just going to take the mattifying primer and I'm going to put that all down my nose where most people would feel like they get the most oil, and on the edges, go up, and I'll go on the forehead. And sometimes people feel it on their chin as well. So now, as you can see, this kind of gives like a super blur effect. So that's what you guys want. I'm just gonna go in with my other primer and just do my cheeks. So primers are super important because the ingredients that are in here, sometimes they can be like a little bit waxy, and that's going to help prevent the oils from penetrating through the primer onto the foundation and showing through your skin. So when you use primers, it will help kind of block it and keep it from going through. So now that you have put on your mattifying primer and you see this blur effect, you're going to want to go in with a foundation that is more medium to full coverage, and you want to make sure that the finish is matte. So for this bottle here, it's my Maybelline Full Coverage Superstay. It is a matte natural finish. It is oil free and it is up to 24-hour wear. When you're looking for foundation, you want to find products that are oil free, and you want to find products that are long wearing because the ingredients in it will be stuff to help prevent the oils from penetrating through, like I was explaining before. This is one that I like to use. However, I will post a few other foundations as well, and I will link them down below just so that way you guys can have other references to what you can use as well. When I am doing clients that have oily skin, I prefer to go in with a brush so you can just get more coverage. Once you've applied an even layer of your foundation, you can go in and take a concealer. It can either have a natural finish, because I find that sometimes if you put a mattifying concealer underneath, it looks dried out and cakey. So if you put a natural finish and then apply powder on top, you should be okay. So I'm going to use my True Blend Undercover Concealer from CoverGirl. So now, once you have applied your concealer, you're going to want to go in and set your foundation and your concealer with a powder. So I know most oily skin type and combination skin type people tend to go to powder, and they're like, I just need to pack on so much of it to absorb the oils. But on the contrary, if you're packing on a lot of powder, this may make your pores appear a lot bigger than what they actually are. So you want to go very light-handedly. So you can use a mattifying powder if you feel like you really need it, which most people tend to go for just in case if they're going to wear their makeup for a very long time. MAC does have a really good mattifying powder, and I will upload pictures of other powders that I find worked really well as well. So what you can do is take a loose setting powder and apply it all over the areas in which you feel aren't too oily. So like, people can bring it on this area. And then you can go in with a mattifying powder, and you're just going to want to place it on the areas in which you feel get extremely oily. So for people, it is most likely their T-zone. So they will apply the mattifying powder, and then they'll see right away that it will give them that super blur effect. Although I'm not going to do an eye look today because I'm really focusing on the skin, if you go and do an eyeshadow look, it's super important that you put a primer as well, because your eyelids do get very oily, which will then make your eyeshadow move on the eyelids. So if you put a primer, it's the same thing as before. It blocks the oils from penetrating through, so your eyeshadow will stay all day and it won't budge. So something to keep in mind. So now when you want to go in and contour and blush and put highlight and everything on the face, you will want to go in with powdered products. Like I mentioned before, if you use cream, it will budge around. So I'm going to go in with my contour shade from Makeup Forever. And I will go in very lightly. So this is why I was saying before with the translucent powder and the mattifying powder and everything, you don't want to like cake it on, because for your other steps you will be using powdered products. So if you already have too much loose setting powder on your face and then you're going and applying all these powders as well, it will make your pores look a lot bigger. So if you go very minimal on the loose setting powders, except for your areas that you do find are oily and you need maybe a little bit more mattifying powder, the rest go in and use your powdered products and just go very nice and lightly on the face. contour done. My blush is done. If you'd like to go in, you can go and bronze your face. I'm not going to do that because I'm already looking very powdery and cakey because this is not my skin type, so it's very like drying to my skin right now. I know that oily to combination skin types also do fear wearing highlight. If you're the type of girl that loves to wear highlight, you can go with something that is like very sheer, light, and gives you a natural sheen, but just don't go too heavy-handed with it. It's not often that people are like extremely oily in these areas. So you can go in with something that is very sheen highlight that just gives you that natural glow and not oil, okay? You will see a difference. So it just looks very pretty, very soft. However, I would suggest avoiding areas that you do feel like you get super oily. So like, don't go and apply highlight on your nose, because if you have your highlight and then oils pop through later on through the night or something like that, it may make it look worse, and then I don't want you guys to feel uncomfortable in your own skin. So once you have your full face on, you can go in and use a setting spray. Setting spray will be your best friend. Many companies have setting sprays that are actually matte, so when you put it on, it'll help give that blur effect and it will help prevent oils from shining through. I know that MAC has a Fix Plus that is matte, and I believe that Milani has a matte one as well, so I can post a few pictures of suggestions of setting sprays that are matte. So once you have your foundation and everything on, your skin should be looking very matte, very fresh, and you should be feeling very comfortable at this point. If, however, throughout the day something does occur and you feel like you're maybe getting oily around your T-zone or anything like that, I know you can find like either at Sephora or at the pharmacies, they have little blotting sheets, and that will help just take off any excess oil that you have. And normally they come in small compacts, so you can just keep them in your purse or your bag or anything like that. So I hope that this tutorial can really help you guys feel more comfortable in your skin and your makeup application. I hope that the products that I suggest could really help benefit you for your makeup routine. Just remember that everybody is beautiful. You should feel super confident in your skin, and that I love each and every one of you, okay? If you have any questions about any products or certain applications, don't hesitate to leave comments down below, or if you want, you can always head over to my Instagram and you can ask me questions through DM. I answer back very quickly. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it can help you, and have a good rest of your Sunday. See you next week. Bye!